Grover, do you think we're going off the cliff?
I didn't think we necessarily were, but Obama's unserious proposal, which is all tax increases, 4 times anything he even hinted at when he was running for office. I mean, 1.6 trillion. You only get 400 billion by raising the top 2 rates. He quadrupled that. Something he'd never talked about during the campaign. He can't even pretend he did. And then no spending, not only no spending restraint, but additional spending, more spending than had been planned. So I think he's trying to take us off the cliff and blame other people. I guess he spent the last 4 years of the administration blaming Bush for everything. At some point, he's got to realize he's the president and needs to be the president. But he's going to try and blame others for going over the cliff. That's why I want these negotiations on C-SPAN so he can't do that.
What
if we
about
watched,
that,
he couldn't do it.
Congressman Van Hollen? Grover Norquist has been talking about this public negotiation. What is your thought on that?
Well, as I said to Grover yesterday, it'd be good if the Speaker Boehner actually put his plan on paper like the President has so the public can see exactly what it is.
What about that, Grover?
The Republicans in the Congress have not only put something down, they passed the Ryan plan, which is a real budget with real reform that actually got votes. The President's budget is one that every single Democrat voted against and every single Democrat in the Senate voted against. It's not serious.
Actually, that's a Republican talking point. It's not true. We had a Democratic budget alternative that mirrored in many ways the President's budget.
Did you vote against the President's budget, sir? Yes or no?
But listen, Diane. Look, again, the President has now put his on paper. If what Grover is saying is that the Boehner plan for the fiscal cliff is simply the old Republican budget that Mitt Romney and others ran on, he should say that. He has not said that. He has talked about additional revenues. He has not put anything on paper as how he would achieve those revenues, partly, frankly, because that would drive this wedge within the Republicans between those who say they're going to stick with the pledge, which says you cannot raise one additional penny of revenue for the purpose of deficit reduction from closing loopholes or ending tax breaks, and others. But if he finally puts something on paper, as the President has, then maybe we can move forward.
All right, to Worcester, Massachusetts. Good morning, Cynthia.
Oh, good morning, Diane. I love your show. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
I have 2 statements, the first of which is Mr. Norquist keeps on referring to the Reagan administration and how the Reagan administration asked for his analysis. The Reagan administration started a long time ago. I was born in 1981. The Reagan administration does not represent the American people anymore. I wasn't even aware politically when the Reagan administration was in place, and I vote now. I'm 31 years old. The second statement is about the, quote, entitlement reforms that he's asking for. We don't discuss what, quote, unquote, entitlements will be cut. I seriously doubt Mr. Norquist has any concept of what it's like to decide whether he's going to purchase health insurance from his employer because whether he'll have enough take-home pay to feed his children. I don't think that he knows what it's like to have the decision between prescription drugs and groceries, as I've seen people do directly in front of me as a pharmacy technician. And I really don't think he has any idea what it's like to be unemployed at no fault of his own. A couple of years ago, my fiance, who has a master's degree, and myself had, and we had a $15 a week budget.
Wow. Cynthia, thank you for calling, and you're listening to the Diane Rehm Show. Grover, do you want to respond?
Sure. I think it's very important that we have a government that doesn't do damage to exactly the people in the situation she was talking about. And again, 11.5 million people are out of work today because we took the wrong path in dealing with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac's collapse. And we need to have lower taxes, less regulations. Look, going ahead, the next 4 years are going to be very, very ugly. Why? Because all of the bits of Obamacare that the administration didn't want to talk about didn't come into being until after the election. The trillion-dollar tax increases, the taking away your health savings accounts and flexible savings accounts that a lot of special needs parents have and use, and they're going to be taxed so that they can't be used in the same way anymore. These are very unpleasant parts of Obamacare, and they were delayed. We're now going to hit those. All the regulations you're hearing about, pizza places will have to put all 34 million different kinds of topping choices, the calories for each one on the walls of the pizza place. This is a new rule they just came out
What's
with.
that got to do with taxes,
Because,
Grover?
it's not just taxes. The regulatory burdens coming down the pike in the second term, all that were delayed conveniently from the first term, this economy is being hit with a body blow of regulatory costs, which is 10% of the earnings of pizza places going to go into doing this nonsense.